Node.js and NPM. Hey, back again with another video. We'll be looking at Node.js. And if you don't know what Node.js is, it's a JavaScript runtime built on the Chrome V8 JavaScript engine. Basically, JavaScript is normally run within a browser or on the client side. Now, this allows it to be run on the server side. So the benefit for this in the modern web, it allows us to learn only one language, JavaScript, or at least majority of it where it can be used on both sides. So you don't have to learn JavaScript on the front end and then another scripting language on the back end. Similar to like if you were using PHP, you would have to learn PHP and then learn some kind of JavaScript front end framework or language. Or if you did Python and also JavaScript, or Ruby and also JavaScript. So the benefit with this is it allows us to only learn one language, and you kind of use it on both sides of the stack. Now we'll also be looking at NPM. NPM is Node Package Manager. It allows us to create a Node kind of project or a package, and it allows it to manage all of our packages. And these packages range from utilities to simple tools, full-on frameworks. So we'll take a look at that. Okay, so let's get started here. Okay, let's open up Terminal. And we'll do... Okay, let's check out our Node packages first, and we can list them. This is the list all the global ones. And right now we only have NPM right now. Now, I want to go and install a couple of global packages. You don't have to install all of them, but I think these two are pretty good to have. ESLint as well. You don't have to have this one. Now let's go ahead and install. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at our install packages. Okay, we have our ESLint package here. It's a lint tool to help with coding in JavaScript patterns. What you can do is load something like Airbnb JavaScript style guide, and it will report on the rules to enforce the pattern. This helps with when you're working with other developers on a project to keep the code consistent. We have the serve package here. It allows us to serve up files as a local server, similar to our live server extension in VS Code, but allows us to do it on any directory. And we have TypeScript here. It extends JavaScript by adding types. You don't need to use it, but it's good to install. Some packages may use it as a dependency. Okay, let's clear this. Let's cd into projects or wherever you have your project saved. And let's make there. I'm going to do cwc mac dev setup, cd into cwc mac dev setup, and I'm going to do code and open up VS Code from here. Okay, let's open up Terminal here on VS Code. Okay, so let's do touch sandbox. We'll create a file. Let's close this welcome screen. And let's write a little bit of code here. Let x equals 1. We'll do let y equals 10. And let z equals string 1. Now let's do console.log. X plus y. Save that. And to run this code, we just do node sandbox. And x plus y equals 11. Okay, let's do another console log. And we'll do x loose equality z. And we'll do strict equality. Save that. Let's run it again. Okay, so we have x is equal to z, and it's true. And it's true because in loose equality, it converts, it does a type conversion before it does the equality. And in strict, it doesn't do the type conversion. It tests out the value and the type. So this one is true, and this one's false. Okay, so that's kind of how Node works at a very basic level. You can do some JavaScript in here, and then you can just run it. Okay, so clear. Okay, let's do another one. Let's serve it up. Let's do touch index. And we have here, let's do const HTML equals require. And we'll get a package for HTML. And this is, you can get these from the Node documentation. Let's listen to port, and we'll do 3000. And const server is equals to this should be HTTP, not HTML. HTTP create server, and we'll create an arrow function in here with request and response. And in here, we'll do an if statement that does request.url is equal to, and we'll do this, and we'll do a response.write. Hello, coders. Save that, and we need response.end. Okay, let's open it up. Let's do localhost, and we'll do 3000. Oh, we also need to do, we need to listen for this server here. Server.listen. Got to do this first. And we need our port. And let's do a console.log. Listening on port. And I'm using these tildes because I can just write it without having to do that plus that to concatenate the string. Okay, oh, I also didn't run it. Okay, let's run that. We're listening to port. Now we should be able to serve this. I was way too ahead of myself. Okay, so now we have our server running. So we're serving up this hello coder. Now what you can do is you can also do, we can duplicate this and do about coders. Not be too excited. Okay, and let's cancel out of that. And let's reserve it. And if we go to about coders. Okay. Now, what Node's really good at is creating APIs. Now, what we can do here is, and this is just static. Normally, you would go and grab this data from somewhere. And these should be all triple equals. Okay, we can do like a API /data. And we can do, what we do is JSON dot stringify, and I'll just return an array. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's cancel out of this, rerun it. And again, this is very basic. You normally have something to live update it, like have NodeMon listen to it or something like that. Now I can just go into API slash and go to this endpoint, and we have this 1, 2, 3 stringified data. Now, so you would have like you create a backend with this data coming in from some kind of source, and you could give these endpoints out for your front end. So if you had some data like API user, user with 1, with the ID of 1 or ID of XYZ 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you'd have first name, last name, a bunch of that stuff, and then you could go and grab that data as an endpoint. Okay, so that's kind of how you would make it work in a very basic level. Let's go. So we got this. Let's clear this. Okay, I'm going to close these. Okay, so for my last example, I want to install Express. Express is a web application framework on Node, similar to like Ruby on Rails for Ruby, or Rails on Ruby, the Django on Python, Laravel on PHP, or even the Zend, for the old schoolers, the Zend framework. Okay, let's take a look. Now, to do that, let's go and install, or do this, npm init-y. This will create a package for us for our node. Now, the -y just pre-fills a lot of the data in here. Otherwise, we're asked a bunch of questions. Okay, to install an npm package, you do npm install and your package name. So you can do npm, we're going to do npm install express. You can also do -d for dev dependency, but I'm just going to do express here. Okay, so we install that. If you did the -d, it would be dev dependency and just instead of dependency. Now let's take a look here. We have this new node module folder and this new package-lock file. Now you can pretty much ignore this node module. It basically installs a bunch of code in here, a bunch of packages that you can kind of just ignore. If you want to go ahead and just take a look at some of the code, then you can go ahead and do that, but it's something you don't really need to worry about. Okay, let's do touch express for our file. Let's close this. Now let's go, and what we'll do here, we installed that JSX, or not JSX, that JavaScript snippet extension. So what we can do here is just type in require, hit tab, and this allows us to, it'll pre-fill this with this snippet and gives us 2 cursors. We can just type in express, and this will bring in our express file, or require express package. We can do const app equals express, and we'll listen to our port 3001. We'll do app.get, listen to the home. We got 2 parameters here, arrow function, and response.send. What doesn't it like? Oh, I'm missing the arrow function part. Now let's say hello, Express coders. Save that. Now we need to listen, app.listen to our port 3001. And console. Okay. Now what we'll do here is we'll do node express. Okay, let's open up our browser. Here, let's just copy this URL here. And we're listening to port 3001. And there we go. Hello, Express coders. So normally you would build your backend API using a framework like this. It makes it a lot easier than having to, you wouldn't code it like this. This was more just a regular example, but this kind of supercharges and makes it a lot easier to do that. Okay, that's what I wanted to cover with Node. One more thing, let's cancel all of this. Just want to do one thing here. Let's go and delete this. And delete this. And delete this. Okay, so normally your project would be just this. Okay, now what you can do here is you can do npm install, and it'll install all your packages based off of your package. So if I just did that, okay, now we're back to where we were before. Okay, now what you can do here is you can do npm list --depth, and it'll give us a list of our packages within our project, and it should just list Express. Okay, it has there, same as what we have here. Now that allows us to kind of reset our project here. If there was any issues with any of the packages that you downloaded, or you go in and by accidentally deleted one of these folders or made a modification to any of the files by accident, then you can just reset it basically like that. Okay, you just delete this file and that file, or this folder. Okay, let's close this up and clear this. All right, a quick recap here. We installed some global NPM packages. We can check by npm-g list. We did ESLint, serve, and TypeScript. We created our first Node script here with some variables and console logs to see what was going on. We used the HTTP module and created a local server to serve up 3 files or 3 URLs. And we faked kind of a fake API here. We created an NPM project which created our package .json file. We installed Express, and we created our first Express app. All right, hopefully you guys learned a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the content so far. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave a comment down below. To stay updated with the latest content from the channel, you can subscribe by clicking right here in the middle.